We may be splitting into opposing factions, but at least Phil's happy. He thinks his ditch is one of the most impressive bits of prehistoric archaeology he's ever seen. What is it that's so wonderful about this trench, then?
It's just the sheer scale of being in the bottom of this ditch, and you really have to get into the bottom of it just to appreciate just how big it is. Look, when you cast your eye up there, look at the top of the rampart.
Yeah.
Think about a lot of this material that's in this ditch would have come from the top of that rampart. Just think of the scale of it.
And this was all cut by hand?
Absolutely, Tony. It all cut through this solid rock, just using people with their bare hands and literally iron tools and picks. I mean, it's taken us half a day to do this with a machine. Just think how much longer it would have taken to do it by hand.
How long do you reckon it is in either direction?
In either direction, about 300 metres, so it's at 600 metres overall. And the interesting thing is, it looks as though we've probably got the entrance here.
This massive ditch is not something we expected to find, is it?
No, but I mean, it is just a privilege and a pleasure to be able to dig it and stand in it.
It's astonishing to think that an army of people must have hacked this 600-metre earthwork out of the solid rock using brute force alone. Out on site, the chaos continues. Francis, this is madness! You closed that trench down this morning because it's raining so much, but you've stuck in another one.
Well, the thing is, Tony, we can't just stop. We've only got 3 days, and I'm not having people digging these trenches. It's just being done by a machine, so there's no health and safety problems. I actually extended that other trench over there because there's a flat bit behind the bank, and that's where normally you'd expect to find houses. We didn't find any, so I then came over here, but this is another flat area. You can see we're in a natural hollow, and this again is where you'd expect to have houses, because you're protected from the winds blowing over there.
And have you found anything?
Nothing. Absolutely not a sausage.
So are you going to keep on digging more trenches, or are you going to stop and think now?
I'm going to stop and think and have a bath, I think.
It's the end of day 2. We've dug here, here and here, but we've failed to find any evidence of people living on this hill. And yet we've got 2 giant earthworks. This place is still a total enigma. So despite the rain, we've hit 2 magnificent ditches, Matt's and Phil's. But of course, we still don't know whether or not they're linked, but you think they are.
I do, Tony. I mean, they're so similar, both the ditches. I mean, the filling's similar, and the sizes and the depth, so I think they are the same.
You're shaking your head, Stuart.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think we've got 2 distinctly separate monuments. One that goes right the way across the ridge, the one we've got here, but over in the field where Matt is, I think we've got good evidence that it's a distinctly separate monument.
What fascinates me about this ditch, though, is the amount of work that must have gone into it. How many people do you think it would have taken to build the whole thing?
Oh, a lot of people, Tony. Hundreds, maybe even thousands.
So why are there no signs of life at all on the entire site?
Well, that's a good question, Tony, but we've just discovered that here there was a probable entranceway into the interior of the hill fort. Now, we know from other hill forts that just inside the entranceway, and that would put us over there, in the other field, that's where you have most of the buildings and most of the evidence for people. So I think tomorrow morning, that's where we start digging first thing.
It's been a quite extraordinary day, even though we have had so much rain. And one of the most extraordinary things is that the weather forecast said the rain would stop at 6, and I think it stopped dead on 6. And they say that tomorrow is going to be much better and maybe not any rain at all. Fingers crossed.
Hello, my name's John Gator. Time Team is fan-funded by Patreon. This vital support helps us to make new episodes. Joining Patreon gives you access to exclusive interviews, 3D models and masterclasses, plus lots more.